Today I'm going to... It's fine. Okay. Today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite art supplies and stuff that I use every day. My favorite category of this kind of stuff is sketchbooks because everybody loves sketchbooks. This one's my favorite that I use every day. It's my most casual sketchbook. It's very affordable. I got it off of Amazon. It's by ProArt. There's a lot of pages in here and it's taking me a while to actually finish it. I only have about this much left, but that's also like equivalent to like 40-ish spreads at that point. I love the sketchbook because it actually holds water medium really well, which was a surprise to me when I first started putting gouache in this. It crinkles very slightly, but not enough for it to be like terrible. It like has a kind of satisfying warp to it. It's very minimal. It just makes it a little bit fluffy, and I love fluffy sketchbooks. So yeah, I love this one. Less than 13 bucks on Amazon. A great everyday sketchbook. The next one is a little bit more of an investment on a sketchbook, but it is worth it because look how cute it is. I got the Shiba Royal sketchbook pattern from Mossery. It comes personalized. You can choose between mixed media paper or watercolor paper, and obviously I chose the watercolor paper because I kind of wanted a water exclusive sketchbook. And the paper in this is so high quality, and it's so textured that it's like it's got the perfect amount of texture that it really just adds to each piece instead of distracting from it. But I love a textured toothy paper for water medium, and this one has great paper. There is absolutely no warp whatsoever, no matter how much water you pile onto this thing. At least for me, I've put a lot of water in this already and it doesn't warp at all. It's great and I love it, and I think it's worth every penny because everybody needs a nice high quality sketchbook. Yeah, I think it's great and I think it's fun, a lot of fun. Hang on a sec. What are you doing? If you use my code JillowBeans15, you can get 15% off any sketchbook for the rest of July, which I guess is only 2 days. But don't worry, because next month they will have new artists who have their own 15% off codes, so you can just find another artist with a code. But if you want to use mine in the next 2 days, it is JillowBeans15, and you can get any sketchbook for 15% off. So that's fun. For my commissions, I either do digital prints or whatever they want. For that, I use the Arteza watercolor paper in the Expert flavor. They're at 9 by 12 inches, 140 pounds, has two sides. They're dual-sided, so one side's textured and one side is smooth. And I obviously like the textured side, but the smooth side serves its own purpose, and I use them just as much. For drawing, I use a mixture of mechanical and traditional pencil. I use these two mostly, which are both by Alvin, and they are really good. I love them. I use them all the time. The heavier one is the Alvin Draftmatic. It's metal, so it's got that weight to it. So in here I use a 4B graphite refill, and then this one is plastic, and it's the Draftline by Alvin, and I use a 2B weighted graphite refill. And yeah, for the shadows and darkening it, I go for 6B and 8B classic traditional pencils. Still graphite. These ones are from Winsor & Newton. Yeah, I always use those for the dark parts. So yeah. I use two different kinds of fine liners. I either use the Microns or I use my Winsor & Newton fine liners, and both of them I love equally. They are very comparable to each other. He's not going to get the ball himself. I have to get it for him. So with the fine liners, sorry, I use them both equally. It really depends on the day if I feel like using the Winsor Newton ones I will, or the Microns, and I also will do it. I can't decide which one I like better. They're honestly equally the same. For painting, I use pretty much exclusively these blue Princeton brushes that I get from Michaels. I tend to use a size 4 to 6 because for the scale that I work at, which is like usually my sketchbook, these do the trick. They are the perfect size for blocking in the details and stuff. And then for the smallest stuff, I use this Spotter, is it called Spotter? Spotter paintbrush, also by Princeton, and it is this tiny little one, and I use this one for the thin lines, the thin leaves, the little white marks that I like to do. But yeah, this is probably my favorite brush that I use all the time. These last me a long time. I've probably had these for about a year now. For paints, I use either my Winsor & Newton gouache, designer gouaches, are amazing, and I've used them for years. They're probably the most expensive supply that I get, but they are so worth it because they're high quality. I have no complaints about them whatsoever. It only comes in 10 colors, especially with the set that I get, which is, I'm not sure what exactly is the set that I buy, but the one that has 10 colors is the one that I get. And I use these for practicing mixing colors. They're perfect quality. They're so vibrant and they're juicy and they're just everything that you want in like a good gouache. So these are great and they're worth the price. The Arteza 60 gouache set is amazing. It basically has every color you could ever need, and while some artists will insist that mixing their own colors is like a huge part of the process, sometimes you just don't have the time. Sometimes it's just nice to have all the colors you need right here. The price is great for how many paints you get, and there's just so many colors, and I love them. I use these probably more often than the Winsor & Newtons because they're just more affordable, and I save the Winsor & Newtons for like my fancier, like when I'm feeling a little bit fancier or something like that. But I use a lot of white ink, and my favorite, well, not really my favorite, but the only one that I've been using, which is perfectly fine, it works great for me, is the Dr. P.H. Martin's pen white ink. And what I'll do is I'll use the dropper and I'll probably squeeze like 1 or 2 drops onto my palette. That's basically all that I use on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I hope that this was helpful in some kind of way. Like, if it was minimally helpful, that's great. If it wasn't helpful at all, I'm sorry. Hi. 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 Woo. Hi, Bar. Hi. Hi, Bubba. Okay. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. I'll link everything that I've talked about in my description, and yeah, hopefully you can achieve your artistic dreams with these affordable and worth it art supplies. Thanks!